This week's massive AI updates have revealed a complete, undeniable shift in the industry. We are officially moving away from just chatting with models and stepping right into the era of engineering finished work. So, if you want to understand the true signal through all the crazy AI noise out there, you're in exactly the right place.
So here's the massive question we've got to ask right out of the gate. Is prompt engineering already obsolete? I mean, with these brand new agents taking over complex, multi step tasks, has the era of simply writing clever prompts into a chat box actually come to an end? Well, the short answer is yeah, absolutely. But why prompt writing matters so much less today than it did even a few weeks ago is exactly what we're going to unpack. To cut through the heavily sensationalized AI hype, we're going to use a really strict, structured framework derived directly from our source material. We're focusing purely on what happened, why it matters, who should actually care, and most importantly, what you need to do next. This is going to help us separate the actual technological signal from all that marketing noise. And here is our roadmap for today. We'll start with a welcome to finished work, then look at how agents replace single prompts, evaluate real costs over benchmarks, explore the rise of the forward deployed AI engineer, talk about redesigning tasks and jobs, and finally, wrap up with building your own AI workflow. All right, let's get into it.
Section 1. Welcome to finished work. The biggest shift we're seeing right now isn't just that AI models became a little more capable. It's that major tech companies and IT service firms are completely reorganizing themselves around a brand new fundamental question. And that question is, who can actually turn raw model capability into finished usable work? Think about the old way of AI, the stuff that made prompt engineering so famous. It was, frankly, kind of tedious. You'd ask a question, get a rough draft, and then basically finish the job yourself. But the new paradigm, it's entirely workflow driven. You just give the system a goal, and the agent designs its own steps, grabs the necessary tools, produces a completely finished artifact, and then simply pauses for your human review. Prompt writing just matters so much less when the system literally designs its own microsteps.
Section 2. Agents replace single prompts.
We're actually seeing this play out live right now with major ecosystem launches that perfectly showcase this massive shift away from single prompts and toward long running agents. This brings us right to OpenAI's brand new launch of the GPT 5.6 model family. They've introduced three tiers. You've got Luna, their fastest, starting at a buck per million input tokens, Terra, the mid tier, and Sol, their big flagship model. But honestly, the API pricing, that's just half the story here. The real game changer is that this stronger model is paired with a new ChatGPT work agent. This agent executes long running tasks across all your connected apps and files to create finished documents and spreadsheets. This right here is why mastering workflow design is suddenly way more critical than obsessing over the perfect text prompt.
Okay, time for a quick, grounded hype check. You have to remember, benchmarks are not your production environment. While OpenAI calls GPT 5.6 Sol its strongest model with genuine gains in cybersecurity and computer use, their own launch tables show competitors are still leading in certain coding tests. So, what does this actually mean for us? It means you literally cannot just watch a flashy launch demo and chuck it straight into production. Controlled, real world testing on your actual business workflows matters infinitely more than whatever a launch table tells you.
Section 3. Real costs over benchmarks. As this whole workflow execution thing becomes the absolute norm, businesses have to aggressively evaluate what this AI actually costs them to run at a massive scale. Meta has just opened its Muse Spark 1.1 to developers in a public preview, and look at this highly aggressive pricing. $1.25 per million input tokens and $4.25 per million output tokens. Meta is very clearly trying to build a strong paid API position to rival the other leading labs. They are intentionally making their multi-step tool-using models cheap enough for companies to integrate everywhere. But you really have to be careful here. As our source material points out, a low token cost does not automatically mean a low total cost. You absolutely must factor in the quality adjusted cost. Because think about it, if a super cheap model requires constant retries, tons of human supervision, or heavy engineering fixes just to execute a basic workflow correctly, well, your cost savings instantly vanish. It's literally like buying a super cheap car that spends every single weekend at the mechanic shop. You are paying for reliability in workflow execution now, not just cheap words.
Section 4. The forward deployed AI engineer.
So let's look at who's actually going to manage these costs on the ground. Take a look at this massive number right here. Estimates suggest that India's IT giant TCS is actively planning to build a forward deployed AI engineering team of roughly 5,900 to 8,900 people. I mean, that represents up to 1.5% of their entire global workforce. They're actively reorganizing themselves just to help clients integrate AI into real, messy business environments. This just proves that the market demand is aggressively moving from training frontier models to actually making those models work safely inside huge organizations. And what skills will those 8,900 people actually need to do this? They're going to need this new T shaped skill profile because merely operating an AI tool is no longer a viable career skill. Professionals today need deep expertise in an engineering or business domain paired with a working knowledge of model evaluation, agent design, security, and data governance. Safely redesigning actual business processes is the real, highly valued capability now. Tinkering with clever text prompts matters far, far less when your actual job requires you to govern corporate data, ensure enterprise security, and design incredibly robust agent logic.
Section 5. Redesigning tasks and jobs.
Zooming out for a second to the macroeconomic view, this workflow revolution is setting off some major alarm bells at the highest levels. Recently, over 200 economists and AI researchers, including 16 Nobel laureates, by the way, signed a statement urging preparation for AI's massive economic impact and large scale job displacement. But the practical advice for business leaders isn't to just panic over broad job titles disappearing. Instead, map tasks, not job titles. In every single role, you need to strictly identify which specific microtasks can be automated and which ones still heavily depend on human judgment, trust, and accountability. And we are seeing the desperate need for this human accountability everywhere right now. Just look at these four rapid ecosystem updates. First, OpenAI launched its GPT Live voice models. Then, the International Telecommunication Union started an entire focus group strictly on AI agent trust and identity. Meta's AI image detector literally failed on cropped images, and Anthropic launched a Claude Reflect dashboard just to track user goals. All of these updates reinforce one single vital truth. Blind trust in AI is incredibly dangerous right now. We desperately need better human controls, rock-solid agent identity standards, and strict workflow verification. Section 6. Building your AI workflow. All right, so how do we actually apply all of this practically today? If you want to evaluate an agent professionally, and I mean really evaluate it, rather than just messing around casually on a Friday afternoon, here is the exact step-by-step methodology for our feature of the week, ChatGPT work. Step 1. Pick a repeatable, low-risk process. Step 2. Give the agent all the necessary source files and strict quality criteria. Step 3. Require it to cite its claims and maintain a clear, readable decision log. And finally, step 4. Compare the AI's completion time, cost, rework, and accuracy directly against your manual human baseline. That is exactly how you manage AI in the era of finished work. And that brings us right to the core thesis of our explainer today. Across OpenAI's new agents, Meta's massive developer push, and enterprise firms like TCS building these huge integration teams, the defining factor of success has fundamentally changed. Competition has officially moved from raw model intelligence to reliable workflow execution. The winners of this next era, they aren't going to be the best prompt writers, they are going to be the best workflow designers. To wrap things up, I want to leave you with a provocative final thought. Look at your own daily tasks through this brand new workflow paradigm and ask yourself, which workflow would you fully trust an AI agent to handle right now, and which one would you absolutely never delegate? Think about where human accountability is simply irreplaceable for you. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer, and I hope this empowers you to start designing the workflows of the future.